Hi, beautiful ladies. Welcome back to my channel. So, today I wanted to talk to you about Black-owned businesses and why that business model is not as effective as it is claimed to be. This is part two, by the way, of propaganda that I'm not falling for. If you are familiar with my content, you know that I encourage my listeners to adopt a more assimilated worldview when trying to navigate life rather than just solely relying on the Black community. And the whole Black owned business model is an example of that. Whether you're a consumer of a Black owned business or whether you own a Black owned business. And I'm going to explain why later on. But I wanted to make reference to the Ami Colé situation. If you are not familiar, Ami Colé is a clean beauty brand founded by Diarra Mbaye, specifically designed for melanin rich skin. So she marketed her products to Black women and brown women. And the brand's namesake is a tribute to Diarra's mother, Ami Colé, who owns a hair braiding salon in Harlem. And one of the things that caught people's eye with this brand is the fact that not only does it celebrate and nurture Black and brown beauty, but it offers products that are formulated with natural ingredients like baobab seed oil, which is native to sub-Saharan Africa, which is Diarra's background. But it's not like Diarra started this business on a whim and thought like, let me see where this goes, which is totally fine. Like a lot of businesses were kind of started off literally by just having faith and seeing where things go. But Diarra had a background in the beauty industry. She had roles at L'Oreal and Glossier before she launched her own brand. So she had quite a bit of exposure on how to run and operate a successful beauty brand. And she kind of used that to work for herself, and rightfully so. So, at the beginning of the brand's inception, Ami Colé launched with a skin enhancing tint, a light catching highlighter, and lip treatment oil, which quickly gained attention and shelf space at Sephora. And apparently, celebrities like Oprah Winfrey, Kelly Rowland, Nia Long, Mindy Kaling, Hailey Bieber, and Martha Stewart were known to use and enjoy and promote this brand. So she was very, very successful and, she achieved great things. So unfortunately, Diarra announced that she will be closing down the business in September, which is very quick. We are in the second half of July. So she pretty much has like a month and a half to close down the business, which is very quick in my opinion. Diarra stated that the company is closing down due to economic conditions, compiling of tariffs, which a lot of small businesses and large businesses, but small businesses feel the blow of tariffs being imposed, as well as massive upfront costs resulting in unsustainable financial situation, which really is unfortunate because this brand was highly celebrated by a host of people, a host of celebrities from many ethnic groups, not just Black and brown women, but it was formed for the simple fact that Diarra and many other women like her, many women of color, felt as if there was a lack of representation for darker skin tones, which is true. A lot of the bigger brands did not provide a wide selection of skin tones, of skin shades, and especially for darker skinned women, there was very limited options. Some women, they had to kind of just use like the beauty supply store brands and kind of hope that, their shade would be available. Some people had to mix like lip liner and eyeshadow to get mix it with foundation to get a pigment that matches their skin tone. And sometimes it just lacked pigmentation. Like you would get a foundation, for example, and it just simply was not pigmented enough for your skin tone. And so you ended up looking very ashy. In the early 90s and 80s, when makeup was just literally starting to blossom for darker skin tones, a lot of those celebrities had like a gray cast on their skin. That is what a lot of darker skinned women had to contend with because the brands just simply didn't offer that. And that's their choice. Whoever they want to market to is completely fine. I think that, again, as I've said, we are responsible for our own representation. It is incumbent upon you to provide your own needs. And that is what Diara tried to do with this brand. She tried to create a brand that addressed the needs of women who looked like her. But unfortunately, again, due to financial constraints, she wasn't able to offer that. She wasn't able to deliver that. Memberships are now live on this channel. Click the link in the description box to sign up to receive access to exclusive content and perks. I just wanted to mention some points about the whole Black owned business thing because that is one of the things that she kind of led with in her marketing. Like, I'm a Black owned business, I cater to brown and Black skin, which is fine. Like, inherently, that there's nothing wrong with that. It is a viable market. If you look at brands like Fenty Beauty and Danessa Merrick's, like, they are known to cater to darker skin tones, Black and brown women. But those two brands were very, very smart in their marketing. We all know that they are owned and operated by Black women, but they do not lead with, oh, I'm a Black owned business. That label is kind of imposed upon them just based on the fact that they are Black women. But they have found a way to market and make their brands relevant to their demographic, and it has paid off. So a brand that operates and starts in the United States, for something like that, they've made it marketable for women of all shades. They offer a wide spectrum of skin tones, and it's made it, number one, inclusive to their actual target demographic, which is Black women. But they're not only relying on the Black dollars because they know that, unfortunately, Black people are not the most loyal customer base. That's kind of the setback in trying to market only to Black customers. Unfortunately, you run the risk of not making any profit because a lot of Black clientele, if we're honest, they don't want to pay what you're worth. Blacks as a collective don't support their own when, it's a viable business. And that business, because they're not getting the support, it ends up being poached by non-Black businesses. And a prime example of that is the Korean beauty supply stores. You've kind of seen where, like, the Koreans have dominated and taken over the Black beauty supply industry because, again, unfortunately, a lot of Blacks won't fully support a Black owned business. And part of this is because mainly Black people think that it's the business's duty, the Black owned business, to hook a brother or a sister up with a discount. And unfortunately, running your business on discounts won't yield any profits and your business will fail. And that is the main issue that, honestly, Ami Colé experienced. Obviously, she had investors to help her scale and be able to get her products on Sephora's shelf, but you can't only rely on investors, especially over the years. The whole idea and objective of having an investor is to help you with startup costs. And then the expectation is that over time, your business will scale, be able to pay for itself, and not only yield a profit for you to live upon and to pay your staff and pay for overhead costs, but to also pay back the investors. And if the investor is not seeing a return on their investment, they're not seeing that the business is making money, number one, they're not going to be inclined to offer any more support, any more money, because there's no guarantee that you are going to pay them back. There's no guarantee that they're going to see a return on their investment. And no one invests in a business to bail out the business. Like, this is not a bailout. It's not okay, I'm giving you money so that, you can have a cushion. This is a gift. People invest in businesses so that they can make back money, including banks. Banks give out loans so that they can make money off of you using their money. That's how it works. And so if you're not making any sales, if your customers are not purchasing your products, obviously you're not going to make any money, and you're not going to make any money to be able to pay back your investors, which is what Ami Colé experienced with investors not wanting to reinvest. It's like, I've already invested X amount of money. I haven't gotten that money back, plus a surplus, right? People don't invest with the hopes of getting back what they invested. They invest with the hopes of getting back a surplus or a certain percentage of ownership in your business so that they can make money. You're not making money if you get back the money that you earned. You make money in obtaining a profit. And clearly that's the situation that happened here with Ami Colé, where her investors are not willing to give her any more money because what they've already invested, there's no return. And again, that kind of happens with Black-owned businesses when you only run off of, oh, this is a Black-owned business, support me. I'm looking to Blacks to support me, and I'm looking to non-Blacks, if we're being honest, to pity me and support my business because, Black people are underrepresented in the business industry, please give me your money. And that's the problem, where it's like, instead of you offering value, like, okay, me being a Black woman owning this business is besides the point, but look at the value that I offer to you as a customer, as a consumer. I offer you, yes, especially as non-Black women consumers coming in, you have a wide range of products to choose from, but I offer pigmented highlighter that will last all day. You can literally go to work and then go for drinks in the evening without having to reapply. Or I offer a matte foundation that will not dry out your skin, but it also will absorb any oil through the day, so you don't have to worry about reapplying, like things like that. And I think that Ami Colé and many other similar Black brands miss the mark in offering value and marketing their value and leading with that, instead of hoping that running with being a Black-owned business will appeal to people. And unfortunately, the way that the whole Black-owned business thing has been labeled, it's kind of been labeled as a take pity on me and support my business as if it were a charity, rather than a look at me, see my worth, see my value. I can compete in a market just as much as anyone else can. And unfortunately, people's pity can only go so far if you are not a charity. And a lot of Black businesses run like a charity. First of all, again, running with the whole take pity on me, please support me because I'm a Black business. But secondly, with giving discounts to friends and family not actually wanting to support. And not only just friends and family, like, yes, a lot of brands have a friends and family sale when they're looking to clear out inventory at the end of the season, or they'll have an end of season sale where they want to get rid of last season's inventory and make space for the current inventory. Then yes, they mark down the prices, they reduce the prices so that they can sell the stuff quickly. But if you are currently selling your products at a price that is not going to, if you're constantly, I should say, selling your products at a price that is not going to yield a profit, then you are running a charity. You are giving away your product. And that seems to be the issue that Ami Colé experienced and many Black-owned businesses experience, because again, unfortunately, a lot of Black consumers do not want to pay for what the product is worth. And it seems to be a phenomenon that only Black-owned businesses experience when they are dealing with Black customers, because Black customers don't do this with non-Black businesses, okay? They would never go to a Korean beauty supply store and be like, yo, give me a discount, help a brother out, help a sister out, and give me a discount on this hair. The Koreans would be like, this is the price. You can either wait until we have our sale in 2 weeks, and if what you want happens to be on sale, then great, come back. But if not, there's the door. Maybe go to another business who's willing to reduce their price and give it to you at a lower price, and then they can absorb the cost of not making a sale or a profit. And that's because Black people seem to have this mentality that other races are better and will behave accordingly. And you could say, oh, well, that's not true. We don't think that other races are better. But you do. You constantly asking a Black-owned business to give you a discount is evidence of that. Because if you thought that that Black-owned business was worth anything, you would pay the price and you wouldn't ask any questions. The same way that other races do. Other races pay the price for their products. And I'm sure that they deal with like their own people wanting to lowball them as well. I hear a lot of South Asians make that complaint about South Asian, like doing business with South Asian people. They wanted to lowball and be cheap with things. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, they don't have to deal with it at the same extent as Black customers. And it's evident in the success of these South Asian businesses and other demographics, other business owners of other demographics. They are able to keep their businesses afloat at higher rates than Black-owned businesses when they only offer services to their own people, because their people, when it comes down to it, understand the value of supporting their own people. And that entails not undercutting your countryman's services and prices and what they offer, because, that's their bread and butter. So they may haggle with them at first, but then they'll end up paying the price. And on the flip side, these businesses, South Asian, for example, I'm just using that as an example, they often price, first of all, they offer value. So they deliver what they promise with good enough customer service. You don't have to deal with attitude and people not showing up to the job on time. But they also offer competitive prices. They don't inflate the prices and say, oh, pay me $20 for this box of relaxer when a competitor is only charging $10. And that, if we're honest, that is a tactic that a lot of Black businesses do. They super inflate the price, they don't offer market value, and they think like, oh, you should pay that because I'm a Black owned business. Like, help a brother out. We gotta mark up the prices super high because, it's so expensive. And they expect you to pay it. And one complaint that I hear Black consumers say is like, oh, suppliers will overcharge because I'm a Black business. And it's like, you know what? In this market, that's not true for every single supplier. If that supplier is marking up the price, go somewhere else. Go somewhere else. Be willing to do the research to figure out where your competitors are getting their products from and go there. There are suppliers who are willing to pay you less or willing to pay you market value so that you can then afford to pay market value to your customers. But, if we're honest, a lot of Black businesses, number one, lack the intel or the wisdom or the information to know where to go, or they're just simply not willing to do it. They just think like, oh, no, whatever, I will just go with what is easily accessible and then charge up the price and people will pay it. And unfortunately, that's not working. I'm not saying that's the case for Ami Colé here, but just in general as it pertains to the topic of Black-owned businesses. And so it's almost like it's a vicious cycle of either having to deal with companies that overinflate their prices and expect you to offer cruddy customer service. If we're honest, a lot of Black businesses have poor customer service. For example, Jamaican restaurants. There's this running joke that is not funny, to be honest, where if you go to a Jamaican restaurant and the lady at the front gives you attitude, the food's going to be right. It's going to be good. Or, if you go to a Jamaican restaurant, you ask for oxtail. Oh, we don't have that. You ask for jerk chicken. We don't have that. And it's like, yo, what do you have? Oh, we have a beef patty, or we have curry goat. And it's like, well, damn, like, I don't want any of those things. I want what you have on the menu. So there's that end of the cycle, and that entitlement, quite frankly, exists on both sides, unfortunately. And so if you are a Black woman who owns a business, focus on value over just simply marketing and being a Black-owned business. Marketing yourself as a Black-owned business isn't going to magically produce profits or results. You need to offer value just as much as any other business needs to offer value. Otherwise, you're not going to succeed. No one owes you anything just because you're a Black-owned business, just because Black people experienced slavery and other injustices. No one owes you anything because of that. Okay, and especially in this climate where things are shifting politically, no one owes you anything. You need to be competitive just as much as anyone else. No one gives a damn about your gender and the color of your skin. They want to know, do you have what I need? Are you offering value? And are you offering a fair competitive price? If you are not, then I'm sorry, I'm going to go to whoever is able to check off most, if not all of those boxes. Okay, so make sure that you develop and scale your business in a way that will give you a competitive edge, because business is a competition and you will continue to lose out to people, regardless of race or gender, who are able to offer this for you. Okay, embrace the basic, especially if you must hold on to the whole Black-owned business trope. Go back to the basics and offer what a good chunk of Black-owned businesses are not offering, which is good customer service, good work ethic, and fair prices. All right, these are my thoughts on the topic. Let me know what you think down below. Thanks again for listening, and I will see you in the next video.